Hello everybody, it's very good to see you here and well, very excited. It's my first public speech since 2004 I think, but yeah, let's just go ahead. My topic for today is, I'm not sure about the wording itself, but let's just try to see what's gonna come up. The idea itself is that I was amazed by the butterfly effect theory since I've heard it, like, I don't know, 10-15 years ago. For those who do not know, butterfly effect is the expression of a small change that happens at some point in time or space and causes basically effects that are impossible to predict in another dimension at a later state. And that's the expression for the smart ones that are into math and know about Lorentz and the graphical expression of the butterfly effect. In other words, the way I put it for this presentation for today is that things we do today will definitely influence us and the things and the world around us tomorrow, and for sure, step by step, we separately lead this place, this country, this city to something that is difficult for us to foresee in years and years, in hundreds of years. Well, the whole idea of the presentation is that I'm going to pivot these things on a few examples that I've actually collected during a couple of years in going here and there, talking to people. I hope it's going to be fun. It's not stuff you really read in Wikipedia or in history books, but of course you have that part as well. So first example, Netherlands, and namely Amsterdam. When I say Amsterdam, of course, you have, it's all here. It's coffee shops, prostitutes, tourists, drunk tourists, stones tourists, and so on. A lot of people on the streets that simply cause chaos to the city. Locals don't like it, but in the same time they bring money. Locals don't like it, but in the same time, this is the thing that brings money to the municipality, and this is the things that actually make Amsterdam famous the way it is right now. However, if switch a couple of 100 years back, let's say 17th century, what you had in Amsterdam, it was the biggest harbor in the world. Ships coming and going, sailing across the seas from India to US, to Americas, to Baltic Sea and so on. This has generated into a huge trade hub for continental Europe. Merchants coming to Amsterdam, buying things that you can only find here, going abroad, going to, for reselling and so on. This has made Amsterdam, by means of trade, the wealthiest city in the world at the time. Of course, for a very short period of time, because after that you have the French and so on. But that's another story. Amsterdam, of course, you had the premises. They were not really our religion. Protestantism is based on stimulating work, on stimulating trade, on encouraging people to do business and to work and to be rich. Amsterdam and Netherlands, of course, became the cradle of capitalism, one of the biggest, one of the first stock exchanges, and that had actually, that actually opened there in this period. However, this is the stuff that you read in books, of course. The reality as I see it, is first of all, of course, a lot of rich and very diverse marketplaces, different people from different countries traveling to Amsterdam. Largest gathering of sailors and merchants, and I don't have to tell you, you know, what is a sailor like when he steps on land after 6 months of sailing and that just got his money. Of course, this generates huge demand for services. That's prostitution, that's taverns, and of course my impression is that all kinds of things that are also legal in Netherlands right now also entered Europe through this harbor. Of course, I'm speaking about marijuana. It's not an accident that right now these things are legal there and not anywhere else. There is public acceptance that is rooted in hundreds of years, and this is the whole point and the whole explanation of the phenomenon itself. Why is Netherlands so rebel after all? Yeah, because it's still EU, but still you have these things that are simply for the Orthodox Europeans a bit a shame. Moving on, France. You have Paris. When you say Paris, of course, you say cuisine. You say art, culture, fashion, and this attracts about 26 million people per year in Paris alone. Again, huge market, huge profits. But this is not created, as an accident. Again, switch back to hundreds of years, and you have this guy. He reigned for pretty much the longest period of time in Europe. He has about 70 years of in power. This again is something obvious, but what is very interesting is that this guy, Louis XIV, had huge appetite. He loved eating. He loved eating a lot. A couple of bowls of soups in one session, a lot of, I don't know, chicken, meat, fruit, and so on and so on. All of that in one sitting. 70 years, and you have a certain trend, a certain tradition that is rooted and is perpetuated, and you have the beautiful tradition of the French cuisine now that, of course, they pretend to be we are the French, we have the best of the best cuisine and culture and so on. Culture, I don't know, I would say they got culture because Italians got it as well. But the fact of the matter is that Louvre was at the moment, you have, again, the biggest attraction for the tourists in old world. This is one of the biggest art collections. Started from Francois I in the Renaissance, when he redesigned the Louvre from a simple fortress, up to Napoleon, that together with his military action, he brought a lot of art into Louvre, into Paris, into France. Moving on to England, what do you have? Bad food, bad weather, and of course tea. Tea is tea, coffee. Okay, I'll put it together. You have it maybe as a salvation for the city, for the country. Moving on to going back to 17th century. You had very poor sanitation in London. There was basically, it was impossible to have clean water, drinkable water. And you had plagues, you have epidemics and so on. People were dying, hundreds of thousands, because of bad sanitation and bad hygiene. When tea was brought, it was actually a very good, it was a salvation, and it was a very good alternative for other liquids that people would drink in order to simply hydrate themselves, because water you couldn't drink. And that was beer and wine. Imagine a city constantly tipsy. or just, I don't know, go to a random village in our country. It's pretty much the same as London in 17th century. So you have the tradition of coffee and tea that is I mean, it's when you say London, you say England, you say cup of tea, of course. Moving on to Finland, this one is a bit it's a bit further reaching, further going, and it's not about the city itself. There you go. It's very beautiful. What it doesn't say is that it's extremely cold. Minus 37, minus 40. Well, if it's minus 35, you're allowed by law not to go to work. If it's minus 34, you have no excuse, as an example. Finns were a sedentary population for about 3,000 years, and this in extremely harsh weather conditions. Very cold, dark, and harsh winter. This means you have to prepare. This means you have to prepare for winter. You have to have enough food, enough provision, enough clothes. Otherwise, you die. Root this, boil this in the conscience of the people for a couple of 100 years or a couple of 1,000 years, as is the case. And you have it. You have the Finnish people nowadays, which are very efficient, straightforward, hardworking, extremely hardworking, rigid. If you have to go into a meeting in Helsinki, for example, and it should start at 10 o'clock, it starts at 10, regardless of how many people were invited or not. I mean, not even Germans are doing that. Yeah. And I have very little time. So this is about Finnish. Italy, to save time, it's exactly the opposite of Finland. And we go on. Turkey, you have speaking about Istanbul, a couple of hundred years ago, everything was for the Sultan. Sultan was the great one. Everybody were devoted to the Sultan, willing to die for the Sultan, and so on. Everything that was moving in this huge empire was for the Sultan. Whatever goodie, whatever tasty thing you find somewhere in the corner of the empire, you bring it to the Sultan. You boil it you put it in Istanbul, you make it better, you improve it, and you have the current days Istanbul, a very diverse place when it comes to eating and especially the sweets. With the sweets, I have my theory. Islam was at the times and also now a hashish smoking culture, and whoever has some ideas about this, you will know that you should know that the hashish itself enhances tastes, sensations, everything. Of course, you're lucky if you can find your feet, which is the cause that the Sultan would simply lie down and smoke and smoke. And of course, the sweets is something that, this is the recipe that I actually read in the book, so don't blame me. You need the sweet for the hash. My favorite one, Austria, Vienna, of course. You have the balls, you have greatest architecture, you have a very comfortable city, you have a pretty much snobbish population, all of them noble, all of them, I'm Austrians and I'm not a German. This is what makes them special, but this is what is actually beautiful about the city and about the country. The empire itself, long ago, a couple of 100 years ago, multinational empire in the center of Europe. Unlike other big powers, it was surrounded from every part by the Ottomans, by the Russians, by the French, and so on and so on. This in the conditions that it was also internally, there were a lot of independence movements. You had Romanians, you have Hungarians, you had Slovaks, Czechs, Poles, Slovenes, Croats, Bosniaks, and so on. And of course, you had pressures from outside. This has caused the need for diplomacy. and not fight, because Austrians would never defeat all of their enemies and all of their competitors. Diplomacy at the time was arranged marriages. Recipe for it is prestige. Build a beautiful city, attractive, the greatest city in the world and in Europe. Make it the most acclaimed, make the most acclaimed events, balls, concerts, and so on, so that everybody takes this serious, and everybody, when you invite them, they would come to you. And this creates the opportunity to, you know, make your son with that duke meet, and so on and so on. And of course, as a final outcome, you maintain peace, not by actually waging war, and not by going into fights. What you need for it is universities to educate locals, and especially your children. You need poets, artists, architects to build that, and musicians. Mozart, Beethoven, you name it, Schubert, and so on and so on and so on. All of them lived in Vienna, were born in Vienna, or at least traveled there, yeah? And you need money for it. You need to keep the country rich, so that you can finance all of this. Now, as a conclusion, I would say that I mean, this is the past, yeah. But if we look at what is happening now, this is not the end. Everything is moving, and everything is in permanent evolution. We can say that moment zero is now, and what we do today and what we are today in this country will influence tomorrow. I'm wondering, and this is not the final list that I will just leave it up to you to develop. It's really important to know that, well, to see what's around us, and to have this vision, what's happening, and where are we actually going? Because as in the examples back that I've just shown, we have some things that will pivot certain developments in 30 years, 20 years, 100 years. Simple guesses, I didn't really take too much fantasy to develop everything, but I'll say in 30 to 100 years you'll have 3 to 5 strong brands, of course, wine, food processing, you never know, IT, whatever, but we will have a few brands internationally known. That's impossible not to have. Trade, I would say trade is something very incipient, but it's something that we learned in the last 20 years. Sell here, buy there, that works. It's very incipient, but it's gonna develop, and there is no reason to condemn it, or to say that we need something else. Let it happen, it's gonna evolve, it's gonna be more educated, more civilized. Good education, of course, we're praising that human capital is something that we have, and we have to give as a competitive thing. For this you need education, and this will be and is a priority for us, as a society, as a country. Without this, there is no way to go. And I just put greenest economy in the region, not because it's fashion, not because it's nice, or because we want to be #1, at least in something. It's because there is no, especially for us, there is no other way to go. If you look around, you have Ukraine, Romania, and so on and so on. Countries from around us have at least some resources. We have nothing. When we don't save enough, we pay double than them, because for them it's very simple. They extract and they burn. Yeah. For us, it's and this is what's gonna. I mean, there is not much that we have to do as a whatever policy and so on. It's gonna happen for sure. That's at least my impression. And with this, I would like to thank you.